The lab was silent except for the hum of the time machine in the corner. Yes, a real working time machine that I like to refer to as the Bell due to its shape. As I gazed at the blinking lights and whirring gears, I couldn't help but wonder, where would I go on this incredible journey? The possibilities were endless. 1350 BCE. Ancient Egypt. The time machine hummed and whirred, and suddenly the lab around me disappeared. I was plunged into darkness for a moment, then emerged into blinding sunlight. As my eyes adjusted, I saw that I was standing in the middle of a bustling marketplace. People in colorful robes bustled past me, shouting and haggling over goods. In the distance, I could see the Great Pyramids rising up against the sky. I had done it. I had traveled back in time over 3,000 years to ancient Egypt. The air was thick with the smell of spices and incense, and the sounds of the marketplace were overwhelming. I felt a sense of awe and wonder as I looked around at the ancient buildings and people going about their daily lives. As I made my way through the crowds, I noticed that people were staring at me. I realized that I must look out of place in my modern clothing and hairstyle. I quickly covered my head with a scarf and tried to blend in as best I could. My first goal was to see the Great Pyramids up close. As I approached, I was struck by their sheer size and majesty. It was hard to believe that these structures had been built over 2,000 years before my own time. I marveled at the skill and ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians who had constructed them. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow across the desert landscape. As I walked among the pyramids, I marveled at the precision of the stonework and the ridiculous size of the structures. The sheer scale of the pyramids was breathtaking, and it was hard to imagine how they could have been constructed without modern machinery or tools, only through ancient sound wave technology. It was then that I realized that I was standing in the midst of one of the greatest achievements of human civilization. The pyramids were more than just ancient power plants, they were a tribute to the power of human ingenuity and the endless possibilities of human endeavor. As I continued on through the winding streets of ancient Egypt, I found myself enamored by the sense of history and wonder that surrounded me. I was lost in thought when suddenly, I heard a voice calling out to me. "Excuse me, traveler," said a tall, regal-looking man with a shaved head and a gold collar. "Do you come from a far-off land?" I was taken aback by his directness, but something about his presence commanded my attention. "Yes, I do," I replied. "I come from a time and place far beyond this one." The man's eyes widened in surprise. "You are a traveler through time, then?" he asked. I nodded, wondering if I had made a grave mistake in revealing my secret. But the man seemed genuinely interested in my story, and before long we were deep in conversation. He introduced himself as Akhenaten, a pharaoh who had recently ascended to the throne of Egypt. He was the last person I expected to encounter, and here he is in front of me. As we walked through the streets, Akhenaten shared his vision for a new Egypt, one where the old gods were abandoned in favor of a single deity, the sun god Aten. He spoke passionately about the need for unity and cooperation among his people, and I couldn't help but be moved by his words. Despite our differences in time and culture, I felt a deep connection with Akhenaten. We spoke for hours, lost in conversation about the mysteries of the universe and the meaning of life. As the sun began to set and the sky turned orange and pink, I knew that this encounter was something that I would never forget. As we said our goodbyes, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the chance to meet Akhenaten and to witness firsthand the magic of ancient Egypt. This was a moment that would stay with me forever. 27 BCE. Rome. After bidding farewell to Akhenaten, I made my way back to the time machine, eager for my next adventure. I typed in the coordinates for Rome in 27 BCE and settled back in my seat as the machine whirred to life. When I emerged from the time machine, I found myself in a bustling construction site. The air was filled with the sounds of hammers and chisels, and the smell of fresh-cut stone. I looked around and realized that I was standing in the midst of the construction of the first Pantheon, a temple dedicated to all the gods of ancient Rome. I watched in awe as the skilled craftsmen and laborers worked together to bring the temple to life. The sheer scale of the project was breathtaking, with massive stone columns and intricate carvings adorning every inch of the building. I made my way through the site, taking in every detail and marveling at the dedication and skill of the workers. As I walked, I found myself drawn to a group of architects huddled together, discussing the intricacies of the temple's design. I approached them tentatively, not wanting to interrupt their work, but to my surprise, they welcomed me warmly and eagerly shared their insights with me. They explained the unique features of the Pantheon, such as the massive dome at the center of the temple, which was unlike anything ever built before. I asked the architects what the purpose of the Pantheon was, and they explained that it was a temple dedicated to all the gods of ancient Rome. They told me that the temple was being built to honor the gods and to bring good fortune to the people of Rome. One of the architects, a man with a kind face and a thick beard, explained that the Pantheon would serve as a gathering place for people of all walks of life. It will be a place of worship, of course, he said. But it will also be a place where people can come to meet, to talk, to share ideas. It will be a symbol of our shared culture and beliefs. I listened intently as the architects spoke, marveling at their passion and knowledge. They explained the intricacies of the temple's design, from the massive columns to the intricate carvings, and I couldn't help but be amazed by their attention to detail. As the day wore on, I knew that it was time to return to my own time. I made my way back to the time machine, feeling grateful for the chance to witness history in the making. As the machine hummed to life and I was whisked back to the present day, I knew that these experiences would stay with me for the rest of my life. 1190. Angkor Wat. After bidding farewell to the architects at the Pantheon construction site, I felt a sense of eagerness for my next adventure. I made my way back to the time machine, excited to see where my travels would take me next. With a few keystrokes, I entered the coordinates for Angkor Wat in the year 1190. The bell hummed to life, and I felt myself being transported through time and space. When I emerged from the time machine, I found myself in the midst of a bustling city, surrounded by ancient temples and intricate architecture. I knew immediately that I had arrived in Angkor, the ancient capital of the Khmer Empire. Walking through the city, I marveled at the beauty and grandeur of the structures around me. I made my way towards the magnificent Angkor Wat temple, the largest religious monument in the world. The temple was teeming with activity, with worshippers and visitors alike making their way through the intricate passageways. As I explored the temple, I found myself drawn to a group of people huddled together in a corner. To my surprise, I realized that I was in the presence of King Jayavarman VII himself, the great ruler of the Khmer Empire. He was surrounded by his advisors, discussing matters of state and the ongoing construction of the temple. King Jayavarman VII was a regal figure, with piercing eyes and a commanding presence. He was dressed in a simple yet elegant robe, with a golden crown atop his head. He turned to me and asked me where I had come from, and I told him that I had traveled through time. The king was fascinated. He asked me many questions about the future, eager to learn about the world beyond his own. He was especially interested in technology and advancements that he could scarcely imagine. I told him about airplanes, automobiles, and the internet, and he listened with rapt attention. In turn, King Jayavarman VII shared with me his own knowledge and insights about his kingdom and the construction of Angkor Wat. He explained that the temple was being built as a symbol of his empire's power and greatness, and as a tribute to the gods. He spoke passionately about his vision for the temple, describing in detail the intricate carvings and sculptures that adorn its walls. As we talked, I was struck by the king's intelligence and curiosity. He was a wise and learned man, with a deep understanding of his people and his kingdom. I found myself learning as much from him as he was from me. As the day wore on, I knew that it was time to return to my own time. I bid farewell to King Jayavarman VII and his advisors, feeling grateful for the opportunity to meet such an inspiring and insightful ruler. As I made my way back to the time machine, I knew that this adventure would stay with me for the rest of my life, a testament to the wonders of time travel and the beauty of human history. What an amazing day! I had witnessed the construction of the Pantheon, walked among the people of ancient Egypt, and conversed with the great King Jayavarman VII. Each encounter had been a once-in-a-lifetime experience, filled with wonder, amazement, and learning. As I arrived back in my workshop, I paused to take a deep breath and gather my thoughts. My mind was buzzing with all that I had seen and heard, and I knew that it would take time to fully process everything. But one thing was clear. I had been given a rare opportunity to witness the marvels of human history firsthand, to experience the sights, sounds, and smells of eras long gone. And in doing so, I had gained a deeper appreciation for the beauty and complexity of the world around us. As I began to unpack my equipment and prepare for my next journey through time, I knew that I would never forget the incredible experiences I had had, and I was grateful for the chance to share them with others, to inspire them to explore the wonders of history and the endless possibilities of the future.